what's up? It's Liam from Cancer Bats, and you're watching me on Moshcam. That is a hard question. We're really lucky. We like have a lot of fun, you know what I mean? So regardless of like whether it's like, oh, we played to 1,000 people or like 100 people showed up, it's like I find like anyone who shows up to our shows is like really pumped to just have a good time. So it's like regardless of size, like if 100 people come, like the show's gonna rule. And sometimes like 100 people, because there's not as many, will rage harder per capita, you know, where all 100 people are going for it. Whereas like in a 500 cap room, sometimes like people can hang out of the back. And they're like, oh, you know what, those 100 people up front will party. Whereas like when you have 100% of the room like going nuts, like that kind of thing is like super crazy. But I can't think of like a specific one. We just played across Canada before we came here. And we were like battling through a snowstorm, like craziest weather ever. And we show up and there was only 100 people that were able to like make it to the show. Because like roads were getting closed, like there was snow everywhere, it was crazy. And those 100 people like raged, like so hard. And maybe it was just because we had all overcome adversity to get there, like battle the elements, but it was so crazy and so awesome to like, having gone through like this huge day. It took us like 10 hours to drive to the show and to get there, and it's like all these like 100 kids snowed in with us, like just going for it. So that was just a couple days ago. That was the last crazy show I guess we played. I don't know, like by default, Mikey's the only one that drinks in the band really. Scott and I are both straight edge, but that's not to say that we don't party. We'll definitely hang out, but Mikey can take it there. And he's also the one who like, he'll take it for the team. Like when we stay at a kid's house and they're like, they want to party, like, I mean, we're gonna go to sleep because I'm not gonna get wasted with a bunch of like kids, but Mikey will party all night long with those kids and like go for it, which is awesome, and I love him for that. One thing that we usually do before we fly places is like we'll stay out and party all night so we can just sleep on the plane. So the last time we came to Australia in 2010, I remember we just finished a headline show. We had headlined in London, England. The show was sold out. Everyone was like going crazy. I ended up breaking my nose at that show, and we were just like at this hotel partying at this rooftop bar where we were all in like a hot tub, just like raging super hard. And it was like 6 in the morning, and we were like, we're just gonna keep partying until we have to go to the airport, because that was like our genius idea of like how we could sleep through our whole Australian flight. And like I showed up to the airport literally like so exhausted with like 2 black eyes and like a broken nose. Like we all just looked like hell. And I remember just being like, this is the worst. Like this is the last time we should probably ever do this. This is such a bad idea. The worst one ever, Mikey once pulled his back out right before we were gonna play. Like he had to like crawl through the parking lot, like he couldn't even get up. But we were in the States, so we couldn't take him to the hospital. So we ended up playing the show with the drummer from Every Time I Die. And he knew all of our songs off our first record from when we toured with them. So he was just like, oh, as long as we play old songs, I can play the whole set. And he's a phenomenal drummer. So he played all the old songs, and then I came and played 2 of the new songs, because I like can play them on drums as well. So I remember that was like the craziest, that like Mikey's like laid out in the bar, kids are buying him shots just so he doesn't hurt too bad, and where I'm like playing his drums in the back for him while Jay sings. It was awesome. It was a cool show. Anytime like a fan goes out of the way and gives us like a care package or like bakes us something, like that side of things is always crazy to me. Like I never did that when I was a kid, like give my favorite band like a bandana. Who is this guy?
Hi, do you know where the stage is at, man?
Fellow Canadian, Chris Jericho, ladies and gentlemen.
I just heard him talking. He's got like the amazing voice. Like it's like the Toronto band.
So much
heard
Canada.
So many Australian accents. I want to hear the Canadian. It's gonna call. Don't want to interrupt. Isn't he cute? Look how fucking sexy this guy is, right?
Handsome man. Blushing now. Chris Jericho coming into an interview, that was probably the weirdest thing. If I had told myself that that would happen in the future, I'm gonna go to Australia and become friends with Chris Jericho, I didn't think that that would happen.
But in the crowd?
In the crowd, kids dressing up, like definitely weird stuff like that. We actually have a cool thing. I don't know if you know, like Canadians already look like lumberjacks. Like, so we kind of made a play on that where we like dressed up like lumberjacks for a music video. So we once rolled up to a show in Slovenia and they had like, we had it translated because we were like, we didn't get the deal, and it had axes and chainsaws, and the whole poster was plaid, and then it said you need to come in like lumberjack costumes for the show. So all these kids showed up like with like beards and plaids and like boots and like suspenders, like to come dress like Canadians, and that was like called out by like the Slovenian promoter. He was like, this will be hilarious, and it was so awesome. Like we were raging with all these like Slovenian lumberjack kids, and it was super fun. They were all wearing matching plaid shirts and stuff, so yeah, that was definitely awesome. Definitely, like, because we all drive ourselves, like in Canada, so there'll be some points where, you know, we'll trade off in the middle of the night when we're driving through like the mountains or something like that, and you'll like have gone to sleep, it's like pitch black, and you'll like wake up, and you kind of like don't think about it because you've been so out of it, and you're like literally like in the middle of nowhere, like in the mountains, like looking at like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. But like 6 hours ago you were in the prairies, like seeing nothing in the pitch black, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of the mountains and there's like animals everywhere and it's like crazy. I think that side of things, I mean, you never freak out, but it's definitely like a rad, like, oh, we're in the mountains, like this is awesome. No, we've been lucky. We've been able to like pretty much play through everything. We don't like normally cancel or have like too bad of problems, even though like gear breaks and stuff like that. Like even yesterday, like in Brisbane, Jay's bass like totally just like died. I don't know what happened, like everything died. And apparently Jay, I didn't see him because I was singing, but Jay was like punching his gear, like he was so pissed off. He was like hitting it. And then I looked over and Jay was just like stalking around the stage with like his mic stand, just like doing it, like singing. But it was funny because like he wasn't playing, so he was only still singing his backups. So he'd just be moshing like on stage the whole time. Ah! And then back to moshing. And it was so funny. But yeah, I was stoked that like he didn't stop. Like it was still just like, yeah, we'll just finish the set. I'll just play the mic stand and like party that way. Yeah, we get pulled over a lot, just because you drive in sketchy looking vans and we're all sketchy looking dudes. But to the dismay of cops, we'd never have like drugs or anything on us because we're like straight edge and don't do anything. So I'm always just like, fill your boots, dude, like get in there, you can find whatever you want. Like there's nothing in our van, it just stinks. It stinks like dudes. But we get pulled over all the time. So we're pretty like chill with it. But it's kind of annoying. When you go to Europe, you just get pulled over every day by like cops. It's like, what's in your van? And you're like, a bunch of dudes. But whatever.